Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me again. I'm very happy today because it is the start of the Christmas season. Today we are going to shop for a Christmas tree at the Berry Farm in Chatham, New York. We might buy a couple of wreaths too while we are there. And since the Christmas tree will go in the parlor, we need to deep clean that room. But before we do anything, I want to test out this recipe that I found online. It's for gingerbread cinnamon rolls, and it says no knead, so it is very different from my classic cinnamon roll recipe. And the first thing we need is 5 cups, or she says 600 grams of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to weigh out the flour. 600 grams. Then I need to dissolve 7 grams or 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast in some warm water. Give this a whisk. Now, I already know that my yeast is good, so I do not have to let this proof. I am going to make a well and add my yeast mixture. Then we need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. That's really just a pinch of salt. 2 tablespoons of unsulfured molasses. 1/4 cup or 50 grams of brown sugar. The recipe does not specify light or dark. 3/4 cup or 170 grams of softened butter. 2 large eggs at room temperature. 1 tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. This is our own homemade extract. A 1/2 cup of warmed milk. I warmed this milk in the microwave. That's like 118 mils. And the directions say to simply stir this until a cohesive dough forms. I think I might have better luck mixing this by hand on my marble board. The recipe says no electric mixer required. So I'm going to not give in to the temptation to use my stand mixer over here. So I'm not really kneading the dough, I'm just mixing it by hand. Well, this dough was pretty easy to mix by hand. I just hope I mixed it thoroughly enough. And then the next step tells us to cover the bowl with a kitchen towel and let the dough rest until it has doubled in volume. And while we wait for that to happen, let's go ahead and make the filling. For the filling ingredients, we need a 1/2 cup or 113 grams of soft butter. I softened mine in the microwave. And the recipe says the butter should be almost melted to make it easy to mix with the other ingredients. Then we need 1 cup or 200 grams of dark brown sugar. I'm using my 1/2 cup measure here. And I do not have dark brown sugar. I have a mixture of both dark and light brown. 3 tablespoons of molasses, so it is a good thing I did not put this away. a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. I'm using regular table salt here. 1½ tablespoons of ground cinnamon. I have these rectangular measuring spoons, so they fit in these rather narrow spice jars. And I can link these spoons in the description below in case you are interested in them. 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, a ½ teaspoon of ground cloves, and a ½ teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And we simply need to combine these ingredients. So this is very different from my usual cinnamon rolls that are filled with nothing more than softened butter, granulated sugar, and ground cinnamon. This is much more of a gingerbready mixture. And if these cinnamon rolls turn out as well as I hope they will, we can enjoy them in front of the fire along with either a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. I think that after we clean the parlor, I will be in the mood for a sweet treat. Then we can set this filling mixture aside. And in the meantime, I'm going to clean up my workstation, and then you and I can head over to the berry farm to go select a Christmas tree. The ceilings in my house are about 12 feet in height. I'm looking for a tree in the 8 to 10 foot range. Fortunately, the berry farm has lots of trees to select from. And here is the tree I selected. It's a 9-foot balsam fir. Its branches are very fragrant. Joe Gilbert, the berry farm's owner, will deliver the tree later today. In this greenhouse, Joe Gilbert and his friendly staff are busy making holiday wreaths by hand. I will need 2 wreaths as I have 2 front doors. I think these wreaths, which are made of cedar, pine, and boxwood, will show well against the mahogany doors. Mission accomplished. Let's head home. we are home again. And we will hang the wreaths that we bought today in the next episode. And the tree that we bought will be delivered this evening. I can't wait. So here is our dough. It has been rising now for about an hour. So I'm going to follow the directions and lightly flour my work surface. And if I forgot to mention it to you before, this is not my recipe. This is from a website called Flowering Kitchen. So it's a recipe that I found online, and I am just following the written directions. And we need to roll this into an 18-inch by 24-inch rectangle. So I need my rolling pin. I think I will use this one. Actually, 18 by 24 inches seems pretty large to me. I don't think I'm going to roll this out quite that large. So this is 15 inches long and about 9 inches on the short side. And now we can spread the dough with our gingerbread filling. We will try to spread this with an offset spatula, and if that doesn't work, we will just use our hands. This is certainly easier to spread by hand than with an offset spatula. I can wipe my hands, and then we can roll up the dough. So I'm starting at the long end. I'm going to roll as tightly as possible, which may not be very tight at all. Pinch the end to seal it. And then we are supposed to cut this into 12 equal pieces. I forgot to prepare my pan. Going to lightly grease it. This is a 9 by 12 inch baking dish. I'm going to cover my baking dish here with a towel. And then we need to let these rolls rise until they really fill out the pan. And while we wait for that to happen, we can start cleaning the parlor. Oh, also, I need to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. In the parlor, my first job is to clean the fireplace. We use this fireplace almost daily in winter. As you saw in a previous episode, I use the wood ashes to fertilize the lilac shrubs in my garden. Then I clean the room from top to bottom, starting with the ceiling and walls. A microfiber dust mop with an extendable handle is useful here. Now we can clean the ancient mirrors and chandelier. I like to use glass cleaner wipes for this job. Next, we can clean the valances and window hangings. A handheld cordless vacuum makes the job go very quickly. Now we need to remove all of the decorative items from the tables in the room. This will make dusting and polishing easier to do. This old gate leg table has a few water stains. To remove the white stains, I simply rub them with walrus oil and a pad of fine-grade steel wool. Well, the parlor is reasonably clean. Feels great to have that job done. And here are our gingerbread cinnamon rolls. As you can see, they have puffed and they have filled the pan. So the next step, according to the recipe, is to pour a half cup of heavy cream over the rolls. Something I've never done before. This is heavy cream from a local source, so it is particularly thick and delicious. We need to bake the rolls in the preheated oven until the top's brown. That's going to take from 25 to 30 minutes. These rolls smell just fantastic. I'm going to let them cool just briefly while we make a simple glaze for them. So the recipe I'm following called for a frosting made with butter, but I'm just going to make a simple glaze for the rolls. Confectioner's sugar, maybe some more confectioner's sugar, a splash of milk, a bit of pure vanilla extract. It's pretty incredible how the cream was absorbed by these yeast rolls. The nice thing about simple glazes is that if you add too much liquid, you can always thicken the works by adding more confectioner's sugar. And of course, the opposite is true as well. And we can pour the glaze right over the rolls. I think this Darjeeling autumnal tea that I buy from Tierra Farm will go very well with these gingerbread cinnamon rolls. I can't wait to tuck into one of these rolls while they are still quite warm. into the parlor. And it's time for the taste test. Now I brought a knife with me just in case I need it. I do not need a knife. So what do I think of this gingerbread cinnamon roll? Well, the yeast dough itself turned out beautifully. It's very fluffy, and the interior has a very nice cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg aroma. And again, if you would like to try these rolls, I will post the printable recipe in the description box below. My friends, thank you so much for spending time with me today as we shopped for and bought a Christmas tree, and we bought a couple of wreaths, and we deep cleaned this parlor, and we made these very interesting and very unusual, but still very delicious, gingerbread cinnamon rolls. In the next video, we are going to do a huge decorating job. We are going to decorate this old house for the holidays, and I hope you will watch. And until then, please take great care of yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now, friends.